Are you interested in hand embroidery but don't know how to get started? This video will cover what supplies you'll need and help you jumpstart a new hobby to create beautiful works of art. Supplies you'll need are an embroidery hoop, fabric, embroidery floss, embroidery hand needle, and scissors. When it comes to fabric, 100% cotton is the easiest to work with, and you'll want to give yourself plenty of room, so make sure your fabric is at least 3 inches larger all the way around your design. Most people embroider on white fabric, but I'll show you how to do it on other colors as well. There are different ways to get your design on your fabric. You can buy fabric with the design already printed on it. You can buy iron-on transfers and iron the design onto your fabric. We have a video specifically on iron-on transfers. You can buy books or individual embroidery patterns online and print them out on paper, draw your own images, or if you want to do a quote, type it up in a word processor program and print it out. Once you have your image, tape it on a bright window, then tape your fabric over it. For this example, I'm using the same method but laying both on a light box. It doesn't matter as long as you can see your design. With a sharp pencil or fabric marker, trace the design on your fabric, trying not to shift the fabric. This method works best on light colored fabric and if the design isn't super complex. If your design is more on the complex side or if you want to stitch on dark fabric, buy sheets of sticky wash-away stabilizer. The size is the same as standard paper and can be placed in your printer. You can print out your design, cut it out, remove the paper backing, placing it on your fabric. Once you finish stitching your design, run it under water to remove the stabilizer. Put your design inside your embroidery hoop, making sure the screw is tight and the fabric is pulled taut. This is important because it's difficult to embroider fabric when it's loose. It's okay if your design is bigger than the hoop because you can always move your hoop around. I've created large designs with a regular size embroidery hoop. When you're ready to stitch, grab your embroidery floss. Embroidery floss is a little thicker than regular thread and will give your designs a softer look. Cut a piece about 14 inches in length. You'll notice that each piece is made up of 6 individual strands. Typically, I use 2 strands at a time, depending on how thick I want my stitches to look. Pull off 1 strand at a time to avoid creating knots. Put the floss on your embroidery hand needle. You'll notice these needles typically have a longer eye than other hand needles. I'm going to show you how to begin and end your stitches, basically how to anchor them. I have my design in my embroidery hoop and my floss on my needle, plus I just put a knot on the end. Decide where you want to start. For me, I'm going to start right here on my R, and I want to pick a point inside my embroidery hoop that's the furthest away from where I want to start. So I'm going to pick about over here. From the right side to the wrong side, put your needle through your fabric and your knot will catch. Now don't worry about this because we'll eventually cut this knot off. I'm going to now start where I want to, and you'll see I have quite a bit of distance from my knot to where I'm starting. You want to put as much distance as possible because we're going to use that length of thread later in order to anchor our beginning stitches. So now I'm just going to start sewing as normal, and then I'll show you how to end the stitch and then what you do once you cut this knot off. I'll show you what to do when you're done with your floss and you want to cut it off. So either you finish the section or you want to change colors or you're running low on floss. In my particular case, I finished doing my R and I flipped it over, so now we're looking at the wrong side of the fabric. This is the length that we started with and you can't see the knot because it's on the right side of the fabric. I'll show you first how to cut off this section of your floss, the one that you were stitching with. Again, we're looking at the wrong side and you have your last few stitches. So I have about 3 or 4 of them right here. I'm going to go under the very last stitch, or the one that's closest to where my floss is coming out of my fabric, and I'm just going under the individual stitch, not through the fabric at all. Then I'll go under the one right next to that, so the second to last stitch. Pull it through, and then the third. You want to do about 3 to 4 stitches. Again, you're not going under the fabric, just under the individual stitch. So my floss is just running underneath there, and then I can just go ahead and cut it off. Flip it back over to the right side. Carefully pull the knot and cut it off. Flip it back over to the wrong side. Take that little piece of floss, put it onto your hand needle. This is why you want to give yourself a bit of room with this first stitch, because obviously if it's too short, you're really not giving yourself much wiggle room. So you want as much room as possible. And then you're going to do the same exact thing, except I'm starting at the first part of my R. So I'm just going through 3 or 4 stitches. Again, just under the stitches, not the fabric if you can help it. And just go under them to lock it into place, and then you can cut it off. So this is how you can avoid having a bulky knot on the back side. This is especially helpful if you're using a white or light color fabric, so you can't really see it from the right side. We have individual videos to show you how to do the most common embroidery stitches. If you want to learn a good stitch for doing outlines or letters, see our video on the stem stitch. For creating dots, check out our French knot video. Want a good filler stitch? You can check out our video on either the satin stitch or the split stitch. What should you do after you finish your embroidery? If it's something you want to display, for example, it's meant to be hung on a wall and isn't part of a project like a tea towel or a pillow, you can use an embroidery hoop or a regular picture frame. You can buy different size embroidery hoops from your local craft stores, and I normally get the wooden ones so I can paint them different colors. Use the inner hoop to trace a circle on felt and cut it out. Center your design inside the hoop and pull the fabric taut. Trim off the excess fabric, leaving about 2 inches all the way around. Put some thread on a hand needle. You can use all-purpose thread for this part and tie a knot at the end. Turn your hoop over so you're looking at the wrong side, and we're going to do a hand running stitch in order to gather this fabric here that's sticking out. So I like to just start moving my fabric so it's going towards the center of the hoop. And just put in your needle about a 1/2 inch away from the hoop. So to do a running stitch, I'm going in, and then I'm going out about a 1/2 inch to 3/8, and then I go in and I go out. You don't have to be too specific. I just kind of guesstimate it. So into the fabric, out of the fabric, then in and then out, and I just do this all the way around. When you get all the way around, pull your stitches to gather your fabric and tie a knot to hold it. Trim off the excess fabric about a 1/4 inch away from your stitches. Place your felt circle to cover the back. I like to do the blanket stitch to attach my felt to my fabric. You can see my fabric's just peeking out here on the edge, so that's what I'm actually putting my needle through. But you can also do the whip stitch if you don't want to do the blanket stitch. So to do the blanket stitch, I'm going from the fabric and coming up underneath my felt. You can see I'm not going that far away from the edge. Before I pull it all the way through, I have this loop here. I'm just going to go from front to back through the loop. And then I'll just repeat the process. So I'll go a little ways away from that, making sure I'm going through my fabric into the felt. Before I pull this all the way through, I'm going through the loop front to back. And then just keep doing that all the way around, and your felt will be secure to the back and cover up all the mess from trimming your fabric and from your stitches. Here's what it looks like when it's done. To put it in a picture frame, I use a thin piece of cardboard that fits inside the frame. I trim my fabric so it's slightly larger than the cardboard. Center your design on the cardboard and turn to the back side to tape your fabric into place to hold. Then put in your picture frame. Not only is hand embroidery a fun and relaxing hobby, but it's inexpensive to get started and makes unique gifts for friends and family. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified of our new releases. Also check out ProfessorPincushion.com to view our complete library with well over 450 sewing tutorials. If you would like to directly support us, you can join our YouTube membership and earn some exclusive perks. Thanks for watching!